It's lunchtime, and I have two different recipes I want to share with you, but we're going to start with the easiest and fastest one first. This recipe comes together in a flash, especially if you've had chilaquiles for breakfast this morning or if you're planning on having them for dinner, because you already have a lot of the ingredients you need to make black bean tacos in camp. The first thing you're going to do to pull this together is get a skillet ripping hot so that you can warm tortillas over this very lovely surface. So my skillet's already going here and you can start to see a little bit of smoke, and I'm going to drop tortillas into it in a minute. Let's talk through the other ingredients first. I've got some nice arugula here that's going to be a fresh topping. I've got some avocado, some sliced radish, a few garnishes like sliced jalapeno and cilantro, as well as some of those beautiful green onions that I picked up at the farmer's market the other day. I've got some lime, and I've got our black beans, the star of the taco. I've got a couple of other things that I've put together kind of while you weren't watching. This is a nice jar of homemade pickled red onion. And you can make this either here in camp, it's really quick, or you can make it at home before you leave, but it's a lovely thing to add to your meals when you're traveling in your RV, and it's a wonderful way of incorporating sour flavors into all of your dishes. To make this particular jar, I sliced a couple of red onions very thinly and then kind of jammed them in there with some black peppercorn, and then warmed up a small amount of rice vinegar or whatever vinegar you're keeping in your RV kitchen. You could also do this with radishes or carrots or any other vegetable, but I particularly love pickled red onions on chilaquiles, but also on tacos. The last thing we're going to do once our tortillas start to cook here is we're going to make a cumin lime honey sauce for our tacos. But before we start into that, I'm going to go ahead and drop the tortillas so they're ready about the same time that our sauce is ready. So we're going to go ahead and drop the tortillas. These are overlapping a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of move them around as they start to cook. These tortillas are partially cooked, so they're actually going to puff up a little bit when they're ready to go, but you can use corn tortillas or flour tortillas or whatever you like. Use a pair of tongs if you have sensitive fingers. Okay, while these guys are going, I'm going to go ahead and make our cumin lime honey yogurt sauce. So I've got a little bit of yogurt here in this bowl, just the same yogurt that I dolloped on our oatmeal this morning for breakfast. And to that, I'm going to squeeze the juice of about a half of a lime, but really I'm going to let the amount of juice that they squeeze out be the guide, because I want to make sure I have a little bit of liquid in this sauce to start to dilute the honey. You could use your handy citrus squeezer that's living in the drawer of your RV as well. And these are pretty juicy, so I've got some good liquid here, which is great because when I add a little scoop of honey with the tiny whisk that is also very handy and not necessary, but is something I for sure keep in my RV kitchen, it'll be a little bit easier for me to incorporate it. Otherwise, the honey kind of sticks to itself. Yeah, look at that. It might still stick to itself a little bit, but we're going to be understanding of its preferences. I'm going to add a big pinch of cumin here, a little bit of pungent spice, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper. Tortillas are looking pretty good. I'll come back to my sauce, but just want to make sure that they're getting the attention they deserve. Oh yeah, watch him puff, look at him go. I'm gonna keep an eye on this, and the last step here is I'm gonna taste my sauce. I want it to be a little bit more sweet actually, and a little bit more salty, all the while keeping an eye on these tortillas. So I'm gonna turn off the heat and transfer my tacos to this little container of towels to keep them warm. A towel or a little aluminum foil packet will work just fine. My sauce is ready. All my garnishes are ready. So let's plate our tacos. To assemble your tacos, you're gonna go ahead and lay out your tortillas. We're gonna go for it, all three of them here at one time. You can curl up the edges a little bit, or you can eat this as like a little tostada platter, which is kind of what we're gonna do. I'm going to take a little bit of my cumin lime honey yogurt and put it on the bottom of each tortilla. So I've gone ahead and plated my tacos. We've got my radishes are on there, my pickled onions, my black beans, my cumin lime crema. And then I've added a little bit of arugula. And ultimately, when I'm serving this in camp or even at home, I basically lay out all the ingredients, bring the tortillas to the table, and let everybody assemble their tacos as they'd like them. So feel free to do that way. That way you can leave out the pickled red onions if you don't love them. I'm gonna finish up with a little bit of this green onion And then I have some really special cilantro flowers that I picked up at the market that I can't resist not snipping on top. So we're gonna do that too. And then they'll be ready to eat. There we go. Lunch is served. I've got black bean tacos with all the stuff in the fridge.